Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a really simple button animation in Blender 2.83. Now button animations are something I use a lot in my motion graphics kind of stuff. They're really satisfying. There's something really satisfying in a motion graphics 3D animation when you see like a button getting pressed in and some kind of reaction. Now you can see here, this one here is what you're going to be learning to do today. But this is what you can do with it. So here is one, it's the exact same thing. I've only gone ahead and duplicated it. And I've just offset the animation on one a little bit and messed around with it to kind of make it look as though one is pushing in and is pushing the other one up, and so it loops. So I'm kind of going to give you guys a bit of a challenge to try and figure out how to do this one here and post on Instagram, show me what you can make. It's really awesome. I will be making this scene here available on Gumroad for $1 if anybody does want to have a look at it. Anyway, getting back to where we were. So this is it. I really think you guys are going to like it. I'm going to try and explain it as well as I can. So let's get into the tutorial. Stop wasting time. Okay, so for a brand new scene opened up in Blender 2.83, go ahead and select everything and go X and then delete. What we're going to do is go Shift A. We're going to be adding in a mesh plane here. So I'm going to just add in a plane. I'm going to hit S and then 4 and hit enter. That's going to scale it up 4 times. Then go Shift A. I'm going to go to my mesh objects here and I'm just going to add in a cylinder. With the cylinder selected in the viewport, go S, Z, and just scale it down. It doesn't have to be anything specific, just round about here. You can make it higher or lower depending on your own personal preference. Okay, so now with that done, tab into edit mode, or just go here, manually go into edit mode, go to your face select, and then just click on this top face. So we have this top face selected, then go E, S, and just scale it in, and you can make the walls of this as thick as you want. I'm just gonna go something like that, then E, and then just bring it down on the Z. So it should automatically just go down like that, or you can just hit Z if it's not enabled. So bring it down, and then with that face in there, just go X and delete that face. And then also select this face and X and delete face. So now both those faces on the bottom are deleted. You don't have to do that, I just like to do that. And then tab back into object mode. And then you can go to your modifiers tab here, add a modifier, and we're going to be adding in a bevel. Also just go Control A and just apply the scale on this, since we did scale it outside of edit mode. And then we're going to come here to these settings. We're going to simply just make the limit method angle. And we're going to play around here with the offset just to give it a bit of a bevel. So something like 0.02 works really well. And then come here to the segments and just increase it to something like 3. Minimize this and add one more modifier, and that's a subdivision surface. Come to the object and just enable smooth shading. So here we have a very nice smooth looking hole for our button to sit in. And instead of going through all of that again and scaling a cylinder in our default view, what we're going to do is just grab this guy and then go Shift D, and then what we can do is tab into edit mode, go A to select all these vertices, and then go S, just scale them in like so, and then G, Z, bring them up to about here. Okay, and then what we can do is go to our face select. We are already there. So press A to deselect everything twice, and then go Shift Alt and then click on this loop, and that's going to select all of these top loops. Then go Control I to inverse the selection, and go X, and we're going to go to delete and delete faces. So now all we have is this here, and we can now go to our edge select, Shift Alt, select these edges here, and then hit F to insert a face. Then hit A to select everything, and then E, Z, and extrude it up. And then just go back to your face, select, grab this guy here, and go S to scale it down. And there we have our button. So now we can take this guy, and we can also just go F3. We can type in here set, and type in origin as well. So just set origin, and we can go here object, set origin, and we're going to set the origin point to the geometry. So now the origin point is nice in the center. That's going to make our animation a lot easier. So that done, let's just go G, Z, bring this down to about the halfway point, so that origin is just hovering on there. And now we have a nice little button. And now to make the hydraulic press, we're just going to repeat that, Shift D, Z, just bring this guy up, scale it down, and then tab into edit mode. And this face is already here selected, so that's quite convenient. So go E, Z, and just extrude that face up. And there we have it. So now we can just select everything in our scene one more time and go Control A and just apply the scale. And here we have a button. So let's get into some really basic animations. Okay, so what I like to do is come into my keyframes here and make the end frame 140. So that's going to give us 140 frames to work with for this animation. It can be whatever you want depending on what you're doing. So we're going to go with 140. We're going to make sure we're on frame 1. And what we're going to do is start with this hydraulic press here, or whatever. Let's just call it a button pusher. So it can be anything, it can be a finger, whatever. The scene is up to you. I'm just teaching you the principle. So with this object selected, we're going to go I on frame 1, insert a location frame. So this one here. We can see now on our timeline there's a key that's now been inserted. And if you can't see what you're doing, you can also drag this bar up to give yourself a bit more space to work. And if you press your middle mouse wheel and you click on the surface, you can move around, or you can go up or down like that. So just a little quick tip for any of you who are kind of getting lost in here a little bit and you can't find your little markers that you're placing into your scene. So in frame 1, we now have that keyframe. And then what we want to do is we're going to come over here to frame 30, or frame 20, I think, yes, on frame 20. And then we're going to go I and insert another location frame. And you can see here we have a hold. So our animation is going to play for 20 frames, just a little under a second. It's going to be still. And then what we're going to do is come to frame 50. And on frame 50, we're going to go G, Z. And we're going to bring this guy all the way down to here and then go into a wireframe. So we want it hovering or sitting. So if I just grab this guy and hide it, you can see we want this guy just sitting right on top of that, as close as you can get it. And then on frame 50, just make sure you do that on frame 50, sorry. And then go I and insert a location frame. So we have this hold here. And then between frame 20 and frame 50, it's going to move from that location to this location. So it's sitting right on top of there. And then we're going to go grab this marker here on frame 50 by clicking on it. It's going to be yellow. Then go Shift D and then slide it over here to frame 60. And then we're going to drag this slider to frame 80. And what we can do is go G, Z and move it up if we wanted to. But an easy way to get it back to its original location is to click on the first frame here, then go Shift D and just slide this keyframe or this marker all the way to frame 90. And then click to let go. And now what's going to happen is we're going to have a bit of a hold. And then it's going to come down. It's going to, in frame 50, it touches down. There's a quick hold and then it comes back up here. So let's quickly play that and just see what it looks like. So it comes down like this and it comes up. And then it all repeats again because it's a loopable animation. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to go Alt-H just to unhide this button. And now we have to animate the button accordingly. So on frame 1, we're going to go I, insert a location frame. They're going to drag it all the way to here. And we want to come to just before this guy hits the button. So in this case, that's going to be right about here. So we might move up 1 frame. And then we're going to go I and insert a location key right here. So this guy is also going to have a hold from frame 0 to 39 is where it makes contact. And then what we're going to do is go all the way to the frame where that touches. So if we go into our wireframe, the frame where this pusher is making contact with the outside there, which is going to be frame 50, we're going to go G, Z and bring this button down. So it looks like it's getting pushed in. So it should be just underneath that pusher arm there. And then we can go I and insert a location key like so. So it's going to come, push it in, and then it goes back up again. And then what we can do is to make this make a little bit more sense, because we don't want it to just clip back to it just popping out like that. So what we can do is with this button still selected, we can grab this guy here on frame 50, the keyframe, and go Shift D and just slide it up to something like frame 80. So it's going to be holding for a little bit while that goes up. And then what we're going to do is go to frame 140 and just click on the first keyframe we made here on this button, go Shift D and just slide it across to frame 140. So now over between frame 80 and frame 140, that button is going to slowly kind of go back up again. Maybe it's got a spring or something underneath it. So let's play this animation. This is what we're going to have. It comes down, it pushes the button slowly goes back up, and the cycle has to repeat. So this is really satisfying to look at. And like you guys saw in my earlier example, I'll quickly bring that up again. this is what I ended up doing with it. So all I did is I duplicated all of this and I just animated the one here on the side to kind of do like an inverse reaction. So I'm challenging you guys to kind of try this out, use some of these animation principles and kind of try and make this scene here, or even something a little bit more advanced or interesting than what I did here. And then once you've done that, post it on Instagram, share it, show people what you've done. It's a really interesting little challenge. I think you guys are really gonna like it, especially if you're really wanting to get into animation. This is a really easy kind of animation to kind of get you to understand holds and pauses and things like that. So anyway, going back to our original scene here, I hope you guys found it useful. I will be putting this guy right here in the description below for $1 on Gumroad if anybody does want to check it out and learn a little bit about it. But anyway, that's been enough of this for today. I hope you guys liked it. I've got a lot of really other cool, more advanced stuff coming up, but stuff that's a little bit more in depth, not just a simple, quick little thing like this. This is more just for people who kind of beginners and kind of want to get a bit of an introduction to animation. So I'll see you guys next time.